Welcome to your Weld County School District 6 Board of Education meeting. It's Monday, November 26th, 2018. This meeting will now come to order. Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, I think we should.
That's okay. Roll call, Ms. Richards.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye. Present.
Mr. Hafley?
Present.
Mr. Lydiak?
Present.
Mr. Matthews?
Present.
Ms. Pappas?
Present.
Dr. Richard?
Present.
Mrs. Solis?
Present.
7 members present.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is a couple of comments from the Board of Education President, and that's me, so I have a couple of comments. One of them, almost religiously, we talk about 3 keywords, sort of our bywords of our organization. That's engage, empower, and inspire. And I try to refer to some activity or event or function within the district that would kind of match up to each one of those terms. And the first one, from the standpoint of engage, I just wanted to cast my eyes over our personnel actions and notice that we are still gathering individuals who are willing to serve as our substitutes in our school district. And nobody beats your classroom teacher, but in the absence of your classroom teacher, we need a qualified individual to step in as a substitute for that period of time. And we are grateful when we can sign folks up who meet our standards as substitutes and are willing to assist us in meeting our goals for the students. The next item under Empower, I wanted to bring out the fact that we just spent some time with an auditor. And I don't know if anyone here has spent time, or the individuals at home who've spent any time with auditors, but that's not always a joyful experience, except that this time it certainly was for us. We got an absolutely lovely bill of health with no deficiencies, what is called a clear audit, which I have now a term to be able to use in the future. But I also wanted to point out that our financial team, folks including our employees, successfully produced this in a way that received the recognition, a high performance recognition from the Government Finance Officers Association and from the Association of School Business Officials International. And that achievement isn't the first year that this has occurred for our district, but every year it's a suggestion that we're doing the right work and we're making our finances available, visible, and that we're using those finances in an appropriate fashion. So Chief Financial Officer Megan Sponsler, thank you very much. Finance Director Mandy Heiduck, thank her very much. And then carry that to each of the members of your team, please. We're grateful always for a bit of good news about how responsibly we are handling our finances as a district. And under the concept of Inspire, just wanted to point to something that was mentioned in the Greeley Tribune, the large number of individuals, over 1,000 students that are involved in our AP program in the district. May I say more, Dr. Pilch? Am I stealing your thunder?
Oh, you go.
You may have more detail than I.
No, I love it. Go.
But we have more than 100 students in the district who performed at an extremely high level with the AP testing. And those of you who know that advanced placement is a bit of a challenge for students who are already busy doing the things they do in school and who have opted to pick up this additional challenges as part of the advanced placement program. And the recognitions above and beyond being able to do well enough in the evaluation of your advanced placement class would be that you could take those credits to a university and have already university credit prior to graduation. That in my day used to be kind of the big thing, and it continues to be an especially good deal. But we also, in addition to AP Scholars, we have AP Scholars with honors, AP Scholars with honors and distinction, and we happen to have 4 National AP Scholars, which is the higher rank, as you've been able to suggest to yourself as I've listed these out. Some students from University, Union Colony, Frontier Academy have all had representatives from this pool of successful students, but the majority, of course, come from Greeley Central, Greeley West, and Northridge. And I just think, yeah, it's pretty inspiring. People doing good work in our school district, and the people in position to support that work. So the next item is the hearing of persons desiring to speak before the board. And I chatted with one of the people wanting to speak before the board who suggested there may be others. They may be caught in traffic. But the only person I have this evening to come speak before the board already knows that we don't respond from the board in listening to a suggestion or comment from someone who comes and bravely speaks to the board. But it's our opportunity to listen and hear from community members who have something to say about the district itself. And so Claire McGee O'Bannon is here, and she's interested in speaking. Please come on up. I'll just burn time while you're moving forward. But Claire is here to talk a little bit on the behalf of the Transportation Department. And I welcome you, Claire. And take a deep breath and relax. And you may need to move that mic a little closer to you. I don't know. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. I would like to start by thanking the board and Dr. Pilch for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Claire McGee O'Bannon. I am a bus driver. I am District 6, and I am part of the classified staff and a proud member of the Transportation Department. I have come to the board tonight in regards to the recent discussions regarding privatizing transportation. First off, I would like very much to thank Dr. Pilch for allowing a committee to be formed so that we as transportation can be included in the process of reinstating the elementary and middle school routes that were cut in 2017. This is a wonderful opportunity, and we look forward to working with the board and Dr. Pilch towards the goal of reinstating these routes. However, tonight, I would like to remind the board of the feelings of discontent that proceeded from the announcement of potentially privatizing the Transportation Department. Some of us at Transportation feel that the beginning of this conversation was procedurally not handled well. But now is not the time to dwell on past feelings. Now is the time to come together to solve the problem at hand. So in the spirit of moving forward and in the hopes of avoiding future discontent, I would like the board to look to the proud members of the classified staff in any department. I would also like to invite the board and Dr. Pilch that any time a decision of this magnitude and overwhelming impact to our students arises, that you remember us, the employees that work every day to see that the care, welfare, security, and safety of our students is met. I would like to invite the board to consult the employees of any relevant department as an initial step. For who better to know what questions need to be asked? Who better to see the places that need improvement? Who better to see the potential problems? And who better to use as a resource than the people who are involved and emotionally invested every day in our students' lives? So I invite the board to remember that we are here, and we are here to help, and we are a valuable and underutilized source at your fingertips. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.
So, Bannon, thank you very much for coming tonight. And you're not alone. You have some colleagues who've joined you. So we hope you'll carry that message that you've spoken with us tonight. Thank you. Ms. Richards, you're acting as our Assistant Board Secretary. Can I ask that you offer the work session that we went through this evening?
Yes. Board of Education President Roger DeWitt began the work session with comments and updates from board members and then proceeded to review the calendar of upcoming events and future agenda items. Board members finalized the plans for the board candidate interviews and the upcoming CASB conference. Megan Sponsler, Chief Financial Officer, and Mandy Hydock, Finance Director, and Paul Niedermuller from Clifton Larson Allen presented the comprehensive annual financial report. Board members had time for questions, and that concluded the work session.
Perfect. Thank you, ma'am, very much. Dr. Pilch, Superintendent's report. I hope you don't mind that I used some of the information about the AP students.
I appreciate that you did, Mr.
Okay,
DeWitt.
thank
So
you.
I will only add this to that about our advanced placement students, that we have nearly doubled the number of students in our advanced placement courses, as well as those scoring as AP scholars. I mean, this is a big deal. It's a big, big deal. And lots of additional work goes in, not only for the students for being AP scholars, but for the staff who have to attend training to be an AP teacher and then to come back and fully implement that and to do so in a way that ensures that children pass that AP exam, which is really what gets them the college credit, is that AP score of 3 or higher. And if you get a 4 or a 5, you are really golden. So really proud of our teachers and our students who have worked so hard for advanced placement. And since those numbers were recently announced, it's a good time to celebrate that. So thank you to everyone who's contributed to that. I also want to talk for just a moment about, we have 4 weeks left, and a little short of 4 weeks, really. We're going to start 4 weeks, and then it's winter break. So we are on the final push here with our students, and if there's parents who are out there watching, just a good reminder that we know this is a hard time of year. You come off of Thanksgiving break, they've had a week of sleeping late, and now you're trying to get them back, right, Mr. Matthews, and get them back onto schedule. All of them, right, Mr. Matthews, all of your children. So, but we have under 4 weeks here to finish here. Most of our schools are on a semester schedule, and to finish this semester and to finish strong. So it's so important for parents to have their children in regular attendance, to keep them coming every single day and learning as much as they can. And soon we will have 2 full weeks off at winter break, and then we'll welcome everybody back in January. So, Mr. DeWitt, this tonight is your last official board meeting.
It is.
You will be here with us on December 10th to, as I understand, to officially submit your retirement, your resignation from our Board of Education, at which point we will officially declare a vacancy, your colleagues will, and then they will go about selecting and voting on a candidate to join our board. And those interviews occur this Friday for anyone who's just kind of keeping track of our schedule. And we have 5 candidates, 5? 5.
Yes.
5 candidates that our board will be interviewing on Friday. But that final decision on those candidates will be made at the board meeting on December 10th. And so I'd like to break protocol for just a moment, Mr. DeWitt, and begin the thank you that is so well deserved for you. And we'll do it again on December 10th. But to begin the thank you and the recognition for your service to our Board of Education, and particularly for your support of me. I made it all the way to the end almost. But thank you, Mr. DeWitt, and thank you for your service. And I know your colleagues will want to spend some time either tonight or on the 10th, maybe both, talking about you and your leadership. And I will just offer up, so that I don't take the airtime on the 10th, that so important to me will always be the work that you did as board president to bring me on as superintendent 4 years ago.
It's a pleasure. It was good work, right? It ended up being a good idea.
Yeah, it's been great work. And for those of you behind the scenes, Mr. DeWitt and I spent, 6 weeks, 8 weeks working to try to get a contract, and both of us knew I was coming, but you had these attorneys in the way, and so I'll just tell the little story that finally I said, and I think he said it simultaneously, "Can we just meet?" So we had this clandestine meeting at Starbucks in another community, so no one would know that the superintendent, who did not yet have a contract, was meeting with the board president, who did not yet have a contract with the new superintendent, so that I think we could both look at each other eyeball to eyeball and know that indeed this was the right fit and the right place for not only for this superintendent to come to work, but for this Board of Education to work with what was a brand-new superintendent 4 years ago. So thank you for that, Mr. DeWitt, and thank you for your service to the children, the little children and the big children here in District 6. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. I think we can move on to the next item. I guess Ms. Solis?
So I don't even know if I could get this out. There was a lot that was going on in this district, and for someone to step up in that leadership role and do the work that you've done, and to see it at the point that it is now, your leadership has been so amazing to this community and such a change in this district. And I thank you for stepping up, and you will definitely be missed. It's going to be a huge void to fill. I feel sorry for whoever's going to have to try and do that. But along with being an amazing leader, you've just been an amazing man to get to know. And I got to campaign with you and became very close. And it's going to be very, very hard to not sit next to you. So I'm going to have to go to your house.
Okay.
But I just want to say thank you for your leadership and doing such an amazing job with Dr. Pilch. I think you really made that transition for her in a tough situation, in a district that had some real challenges. I think you really paved the way for her and really got us as board members together and rallying behind her and really supporting her the way she needed to and really changing the direction of this district. And this is a part of history that your name will always come up. And, you know, the stories will be about the changes and how you led those changes. And just your demeanor in these tough times and challenges is just, I've learned a lot. And I hope I exhibit that in some areas and not be as feisty as I can be. But thank you for being in this leadership position. I know you've had a lot of challenges just personally, and you've showed up to all the meetings. You've done everything that you could have possibly done to be a great president, even though all that other stuff was going on. And you're just a true inspiration. So thank you for everything.
Thank you.
We should have did this at the end of the meeting.
Well,
not at the beginning.
Yes, we should have changed the agenda schedule. One thing needs to be said, there was very little secret action going on, except that there were people surrounding our future Dr. Pilch superintendent who were saying, you know, if you don't have a contract by now, those people are just trying to get somebody else, and you should never trust somebody without a contract. And so it seemed appropriate that we get together and just say, you know, this is one-to-one. We're just saying we're working on it. Don't be impatient with us. None of us have really done an awful lot of this legal work before. And so that was it was an opportunity that I appreciated you were willing to take, and an opportunity for the benefit of the board and the district. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Rhonda. And you can turn your light off now, because I don't want to call on you again. And so much for the superintendent's report. Anything else you got
I'm done with
thrown
my
in there?
report, sir.
Okay, well, I pretty much took some of your thunder with that, AP business. The approval of the agenda requires a motion. I'll be glad to hear a motion so we can act on that.
I move that the Board of Education of Will County School District 6 approves the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. I don't see anybody interested in saying anything about that right now, so let's move ahead. Ms. Richards with a roll call, please.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Mr. Matthews?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am. The next item is the consent agenda, and that also requires a motion for us to be able to consider.
I move that the Board of Education of Will County School District 6 approves items as presented on the consent agenda and authorizes the officer to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
Thank you both. I don't see anyone springing to discuss that. Ms. Richards, again, roll call, please.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Mr. Matthews?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, Dr. Pilch, the next item is a happy item, Success Foundation update. I'll turn that over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. You know, we enjoy a tremendous relationship with our foundation, the Success Foundation of the Greeley Evans School District. And we have with us tonight their executive director, as well as several of their board members. And, I can't tell you what this relationship has meant to District 6, other than to say we would not be where we are with our blended learning initiative without the tremendous jump start that the Success Foundation has given us with our blended learning. And now today, I think you all started that work. I'm sure you may talk about it. Early on in your inception as a foundation, which would now be about 7 years, 8 years, Doug?
Probably
7, 8
going on
years.
8, yeah.
8 years. The work began with iPads in the middle schools, and then the Success Foundation began to fundraise to adopt classrooms and whole grade levels for us to be able to implement blended learning. And today, we have blended learning not in every classroom, but in every one of our schools. And that is a tremendous feat. And we would not be here today without the work that the Success Foundation did. And they're getting ready to do some more work for us. And I'm so excited. I visited a school district last week where I learned some things that I think will interest you all very much around our conversation we've recently had around STEM and STEM education. So I'd like to invite, I think I'm inviting, Julie Hill, the Executive Director for the Success Foundation, and Greg Vols, the President, I think I got that right, of our Success Foundation. And I'm going to let them take their presentation. Hopefully I didn't take too much of your presentation away from you. So welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm Greg Volz. I'm the board president. And I'd like to take just a second to introduce our board members that are here. Diane Alexander. She did not take exception to your comment about audits.
Good. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. All right.
Michael Lambert. Sherry Volz. And then a couple of people that you know well, Rhonda Solis and Dr. Pilch, also serve on our board. And our executive director is Julie Hill. And none of the things that we do would happen without Julie, who is now a full-time director, which has been incredibly awesome. We are very proud to be the foundation for District 6. We've been working very hard to get to that point, and we're there. There have been a lot of successes in the district this year. There are more schools rated as performance than have ever happened, and that's the highest rating, as you know, given by the CDE. 16 schools were rated at performance, up from 15 last year. 7 schools went up in their ratings. 18 schools maintained their ratings. 3 schools went down, and 3 schools were rated priority improvement or turnaround compared to 7 last year. So there is great success happening in District 6, and we're very proud to be a part of that. We love the relationship that we have, and since Julie does all of the day-to-day hard work, she's going to tell you about the rest of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Well, thank you again. This is always a fun meeting. I think we always look ahead and say, push, we got to keep working, we got to do more, but it's fun to look back and see what we've accomplished. So this time of the year, we get to come tell you the wonderful things, and we're going to present a big check to you as well for what's happened in 2018. But just some highlights from the year. We continue to do our 21st century education grants for our teachers, and I tell you, that is our favorite thing, to go out and see what our students are doing. So we'll continue to invite our board members, and we need to get that invitation out to more of you. But 22 grants were awarded this year for a total of $36,481. So very exciting. That continues to grow every year. So we did do a makerspace this year, theater arts expansion, media club, Google Expedition kits. The really neat project we recently saw at Heath Middle School, the construction classes building certain things for other nonprofits in the community. So they were building tables for the World Food Bank, and just a great way to incorporate what they're doing with other nonprofits in the community. I thought that was a really neat project. I'm going to be going and checking out what the STEM capstone project is at Northridge, but we helped to fund that. digital story making, drones. I'm really excited to see the drones that we funded at McAuliffe this year. And then the other one I'll have to tell you about, I'm not a musical person, but we went to Greeley West, and the students are writing their own music and composing. And Susan, who is our executive assistant, she's a music person. So they were all reading. It was like a foreign language. I had no idea what was going on, but really neat to see those kids starting from scratch, being able to work with a composer and write their own music. So those are just a few examples of the grants, but really fun to go out and see what everyone is doing. And then as Dr. Pilch mentioned, we are very excited to have helped complete the last 3 middle schools, funding the digital content and devices for Dos Rios, Martinez, and Maplewood. Those were the last 3 elementary schools that had not yet been implemented in the district. And that was $145,140 to help those 3 schools for this year. So we're very excited about that. And then we do continue to get directed gifts and grants going to certain schools. We've received money to help with unpaid lunch balances, and that was a total of $91,893. So we continue to get those directed gifts as well. And then I'm sure you have all seen it, but I want to thank Dr. Rhonda Hannaford, Jenny Schilling, CJ Renaud. We recently, I think it was last week or the week before, did receive word that we have received a $200,000 grant from the Daniels Fund to help with the advanced manufacturing pathway being built out at Greeley Central. So cannot thank your staff enough. Obviously, that would not have happened again without our partnership, but really fun to make that connection. That was something they were very interested in. And really, to speak to all of you, when we met with them, they just felt the difference. They said, I think they had met here a few years ago and said, we can feel the difference in District 6. What's going on in District 6? And so that was really exciting to hear. And I believe, from my understanding, this is probably one of the only public school projects they have ever funded. So I don't know if we can round of applause for that. We've also been through some strategic planning this year, which we are still have a lot of work to do with that. But I would like to thank Megan Sponser. She spent, they were great days, but they were very long days on our strategic planning. So thank you for joining us. And I think we're doing some really great work there that will help us grow and continue to provide more opportunities for our students in District 6. Couple of things just coming up. Colorado Gives Day. If anyone has some extra change laying around or have any friends, we are part of Colorado Gives Day, which is next Tuesday, December 4th, and hope you all will join us in that. And obviously a lot of nonprofits in our community are participating in that. We are doing some work with the Greeley Dream Team in promoting that event for this year. We are also very excited to host our Success in 6 Awards this year. That is formerly known as the Education Celebration, where we'll be honoring our District 6 staff, and that's on January 31st, 2019, and we'll be having that over at the Zoe's Event Center. Our breakfast is a little bit earlier this year, coming up on March 5th, 2019, so we hope to see you all there. And I do not have a date yet for the ride. We're waiting to hear back from Oktoberfest on that, but we will get that to you as soon as we have it. So, Mr. DeWitt, we would also like to thank you. You are always just a calm voice, and always nice to be able to just talk with you. You've done amazing things, and we just appreciate everything you've done as well. And if you are looking for anything to do, we will always take you at the Success Foundation. You can come over and hang out with us. So we would like to bring everybody up at this time and present a check. But before I do that, just open it up. Do you have any questions or comments or recommendations for us? And then we would love to present you with our check for the year. So in 2018, we have contributed $237,033 to District 6.
I'm going to go get a check. It's nice. They come to me. That's pretty sweet. I think we're going to have a photograph. I'll just get in the back. I'll get in the back row here. Don't try to cash it. Wait a minute. How long do I have to wait to cash it? Well, it's a big one. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's, they hit a threshold.
Well, the ATM is going to recheck.
That bodes well for the future.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Good idea. You know, a little joke. I got a word to say. You do? Before you just go. Will you take that away? I am going to take it away. All right.
We're not stop that we use.
We normally ask for 2 forms of ID. Julie, as you go back to your seat, though, I did want to just say that you were working more than full-time as a part-timer. And it's comforting to know that you're working even more than a full-timer as a full-timer. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other comments about the Success Foundation update from board members? Mr. Haefley.
The money's incredible, and we're very appreciative, but I think the reason of the success of the foundation is the caliber of people that are on your board. And all the people that are sitting there, and Dr. Pilch and Ms. Solis, you know, you should all be very proud of what you do and how you do it, but we're successful because of you, and we're very appreciative, so thank you.
That sounds like an applause-worthy comment. Okay, take care of that money for us. Thank you very much. Well, the next item, Dr. Pilch, is the Council of Student Representatives report, and I had a chance to greet a couple of our representatives. What's to be said now?
Well, I know they were hoping this was a short meeting, so I'm going to bring them right up to the microphone and let them introduce themselves and give us a little bit of an update.
Not every school
Welcome.
district is fortunate enough to have this kind of connection with its students, a student leadership organization. So as they come up here, we express our enthusiasm every time you guys are here. So
Hi, good evening.
You can pull
you can
that.
bend that down, make it work for you.
My name is Anissa Madriza, and I am a freshman at Greeley West High School.
Welcome.
I'm Jasmine DeMeyer, and I'm a senior at Greeley West High School.
I'm Grace Chahal, and I'm a junior at Greeley West High School.
I'm Jennifer Sample, and I'm a senior at Greeley West High School.
All right, maybe if you guys have already heard from our other student council members, we are here because there's a lot going on in our community that we really need to stress about and really need to get out there. So as our council, we are here to unite all schools across District 6. And of course, we have our rivalries, of course. I mean, what school doesn't? But one of the major events we are doing this year is our gift wrapping event. So a few weeks ago, we had a talent show. And the money we raised from that talent show is going towards to buying gifts for children who think that they deserve it. And then this December 14th, we are hosting a gift wrapping event at Greeley West High School to wrap all the gifts and then send them off.
At what time? Do you know right now?
We do not know right
14th.
now.
Oh, you'll let us know.
Yes,
Thank you.
but it is December 14th.
Okay.
Part of our council's purpose is to share with you guys concerns any students have, and so I'm here to present two that many of our students have voiced. One of them is more of an idea. So you guys have a program that's called the Student Spotlight, where you give some honor to special students within the district. And we had an idea for students who had shown extreme improvement within absences or grades, just to give them a little more recognition for their efforts that they're putting in, because they're just as valid as the other kids who have already shown extreme improvement. So that's an idea that we'd like to propose to your board. And the second one was, many students have voiced concern over the newcomers coming to our school. We welcome them with open arms, but there have been many disagreements, unfortunately, between the newcomer students and students who are already there. And so we were wondering if the board could help us possibly make an introductory program to help them understand football games, soccer games, basketball games. We want them to be able to come to our school and enjoy all of our other aspects, but we also want to understand their culture without the disagreements that have been occurring. And it's causing quite a little problem, especially within our public schools, Northridge, Central, West, because we have a large newcomer population. So any help that the board could help with that would be very well welcomed.
So along with the social problems that the district is facing, we also have more technical problems. At our meeting a couple weeks ago, all the schools gathered around to see if we had any problems that each school had in common. And one thing that came up was specifically our water fountains. A lot of them are breaking down and are not being fixed. And particularly, I know that at Greeley West, we have several water fountains that cannot be used because the water is just potentially very unhealthy to the students. So we are limited to 2 water fountains that half the time do not work. And I know that West is not the only school that has this issue. Other problems that we face are particularly our facilities, such as like the bathrooms. They are generally not very well kept up maintenance-wise and often are flooding or causing a lot of other issues within the school. And it's kind of unsanitary for us to be in those bathrooms because just of things not being fixed and things breaking down and not being replaced or fixed.
Okay, and then our last sort of little, I don't know, it's not really a complaint, but it was just the thing that was brought up at our meeting was about how all of our, like, we keep building more schools and adding more schools, which is awesome, but the distribution of students at the different schools is a little off-putting. Like, if you look at just the 3 public high schools, West Central and Northridge, you look at West and Central, which have these huge populations, and then Northridge is a little bit less. And so, I don't know, the students were just talking about how maybe seeing if there was something we could do to make it more even at all the schools. But then again, it's not necessary. Like, you know, it's just a suggestion, something we've noticed in our council. But along with all these complaints, I guess you would call them, we also want to thank all of you guys for everything you do to help us in our student council, because I mean, it's not every day where students get to connect their ideas and problems to the school district. So thank you guys for everything as well.
Well, do you mind standing fire for a minute? There could be a couple of comments or questions, if you don't object. We're grateful for you coming here this evening. Ms. Elise.
So I had a question about the, I guess, conflicts between existing students and newcomer students. Can you kind of give us an example of what you're talking about?
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, there was a verbal, it was verbal at first, and I guess it might have gotten physical towards the end, but a lot of the Somali refugees, the newcomers from there, the girls have to wash their feet for their prayer services, but again, this relates back to our bathroom facilities. So one of the students had an argument over the girl washing her feet in the sink, which caused the entire bathroom to flood out, and this is something that's happened last year before, and instances like that have been building up, and we just want to keep those below and, welcome these students to our community, but also have them enjoy what we have to offer.
Mm-hmm. Other comments, questions from board members? We know we can join you guys in your meetings regularly as you get together. The things that you've mentioned are all the things that are on our discussion agenda all the time. Enrollment and where people are and how are we going to, get more people here and fewer people there. The discussion of facilities and maintenance and upkeep of things and making things safe and comfortable. The notion of how do we best embrace newcomers into the community of learners that we have in the community now. And that's education on both sides, both the recipient community and the newcomers. So it's good to know that we aren't the only people discussing these things in our school district, but you point out we're fortunate that we have you to be able to come in and say, hey, these are some things you guys, if you're not thinking about them, you ought to be. And so that's one of the benefits of having this kind of an organization with you guys coming in and continuously sharing. And you'll have a new board representative coming toward you before the end of the year, I think. And I've been pleased to be a part of your growth, and you certainly have grown over the past 3 years to really measure quickly. So we thank you for your efforts. Ms. Pappas has a comment.
I just want to say thank you. It takes a lot of courage to come and let people know what's on your mind. And what I really appreciate is that you're representing students from all of the schools. And it sounds to me like you've done a lot of work trying to get input from different students and different schools. So I just want to commend you for your courage and thank you for being here tonight.
Well, maybe you could go do your homework now, or you're welcome to stick around. I'm sure there's going to be more excitement here this evening. But thank you very much for coming. Dr. Pilch, the next item is Innovation 2020 Update, Strengthening Partnerships, Priority 3.
It sure is. Thank you,
Just
Mr.
turn
DeWitt.
it to you, ma'am.
I see Ms. Myers, our Director of Communications, making her way over here to the podium. She will give you the update on strengthening partnerships.
Well, thank you all very much, and I do apologize, my voice is kind of cracky tonight, so if it does go out and you miss something, please let me know and I can repeat it. I'm here to give you an update, oops, this did not start at the right spot, on strengthening partnerships. Give me a minute to get my technical issues worked out here. I apologize. So, Mr. DeWitt, Board of Education, Superintendent Pilch, I am here tonight to give an update on our Strengthening Partnerships Priority 3. I am the leader of this work, but this work is being done throughout the district, so involves many, many people, many departments, and really all of our schools as we talk about the partners that we have externally and internally that are helping us do the work around student achievement. As always, this is a reminder of our mission that we provide every student with a personalized, well-rounded, and excellent education in a safe and caring environment. And we always look forward to our vision, which is District 6 educates today's students in partnerships with families and communities to succeed in tomorrow's world. We embrace all of the values of our Innovation 2020 strategic plan. This one in particular deals with the partnership that we have with our families and our communities. A reminder of our four main goal areas: student learning and achievement, strengthening partnerships, climate and culture, and operational and organizational effectiveness. And of course, tonight we will be focusing on the strengthening partnership goal. District 6 will increase engagement and interest in learning through community and school partnerships with our students, parents, and community to enhance student success. And in particular today, I'm talking about Priority 3, which falls under that, which is to communicate and collaborate with external stakeholders, including businesses, local government, and community organizations. And it's really nice to have the Success Foundation here tonight because they're, of course, one of our largest community partners, and we'll be talking about them a little more later. So Objective 1 under this plan is to develop a plan to implement business and/or community organization partners for each school in our district, inviting them to come into the schools to build student relationships and support the learning process. And as you will see in our action steps, we are fulfilling this in many ways and continue to work toward achieving this goal. One of the first things we did after the mill levy override was approved was hire a business and community partnership administrator, CJ Renown. And she has been working very hard in our business community and with organizations to increase opportunities for our students through internships, apprenticeships, job shadowing experiences, as well as bringing in guest speakers and guest lecturers to many of our schools to provide students with career information as well as actual career opportunities within the district. And that program is just expanding exponentially. Our number of internships has increased. We are looking at, as you heard earlier, adding a new career pathway, which will only advance those opportunities for our students as well. And she's really leading that work. Together with CJ and with Dr. Hannaford, we did a survey of principals last spring about our partnerships and what partnerships they needed or wanted and what they really saw as value in partnerships. And we took that information back and started working with some of the schools that didn't have robust partnerships already. And I really do believe that we've really got a plan and programs in place through CJ and through some of the work we're doing in our department to get robust partnerships at all of our schools. One of the things, one of the action steps in our plan was the beginning of these VIP tours, which we will have another one on Friday, November 30th. We've had one already. This was an effort to really expand getting our external stakeholders into our schools to see what is happening, to get some of our partners to actually see some of the work that's being done in our schools through their partnerships. So far, I think it's been very successful. Our first tour was in October. We had about 16 people attend from a variety of businesses, organizations that we partner with, such as High Plains Library District. We went to an elementary, K-8 school, and a high school that day, as well as our service center. So it's kind of a whirlwind tour. But really good information getting out, and really, most importantly, getting our community partners into our schools to see what's happening and to hear from our principals and our students and our teachers about what's happening in those schools. We've also established some deeper partnerships with key community organizations. I know the Success Foundation talked about that. They are one of those key organizations that we partner with on a regular basis. We are doing some deep work with them right now on their marketing and communications plans, and we're assisting them with that to align with Innovation 2020, so we really appreciate that partnership. Some of the other partnerships and key organizations, of course, and I can't mention them all, but that we've been doing some extended work with are the ACE organization with the City of Greeley, Young Chautauqua, United Way of Will County, which I'll mention again in a moment, and of course North Range Behavioral Health has been a huge partner with us in addressing the social and emotional needs of our students and continues to be an important partner. City of Greeley on many levels partners with us, but just one example of some new partnerships, the Rodarte Center is doing some extended year programs now through STEM for our students. Of course, Ames and UNC are providing additional concurrent enrollment classes, and the list goes on and on. Again, we can't mention all of our community partners, but those are just some that have grown, especially in the last couple of years. We are currently also working with additional businesses to provide those internship opportunities, which, like I said, have expanded greatly. Vestas and Envirotech now are providing apprenticeships, and we're going to be looking at more businesses and organizations to provide those early career opportunities for our students. The partnerships that are supporting career pathways are similar. You already heard from the Success Foundation about the new grant that we got for the advanced manufacturing. That has been a real boost to that program, as well as the City of Greeley grant that we got previously for the same amount, for $200,000, which is really helping to do the capital outlay for that program. Excuse me. And then, of course, we've already talked about the Success Foundation quite a bit, but they are doing some new programs really aimed at honoring our teachers. They've taken over the what used to be the education celebration and have really made that their own this year, doing it at Zoe's in January to honor our teachers and administrators and classified staff. And they also have a new category this year for Rookie of the Year, which I thought was really nice to honor some educators or employees who haven't been with us very long, but to recognize the excellent work they're doing. And in addition to that, they did mention Ms. Sponsler attended the strategic operations training with them. I also attended that for a day. And we are trying to co-align their strategic plan with ours. So they're really committed to that, and they're doing some amazing work on that. A few more action steps. United Way of Will County is helping us with a program this year called Reading Corp. It's using AmeriCorps volunteers to do reading, tutoring, and excuse me, in some of our Title IX schools, or Title I schools. And that program's going really well. United Way was just visiting with Madison the other day and taking some pictures with their tutors, and they're really pleased with the work that's being done with that. Another program that you might have heard about is the Power Up Mentoring Program. Wes Tuttle helped lead that program with some retired teachers as a pilot last year to help them mentor first-year teachers in several schools throughout the district. They really worked with them intensely the first 2 weeks of school and then are serving as resources for them throughout the school year. Really, the goal in that is to help with another goal that you have in your strategic plan, which is to retain teachers and make sure that those first-year teachers have a good first experience as well as get the supports they need to be successful in their classrooms. One of the other events that we partnered with one of our great community partners, the Greeley Chamber of Commerce, on was the first State of K-12 Education celebration, which many of you were in attendance. Dr. Pilch spoke at that event along with our State Commissioner, Katie Anthus. A well-attended event, got a lot of great feedback from that. People are already asking what we're going to do next year, so we really appreciate the partnership with that, but really getting that information out to our community about what's really happening, not only locally, but statewide in education, so that was a great opportunity. Bob Billings continues to work on a leadership conference for students that he's had annually. They're looking at doing some changes on that this year, so that should be interesting, should be coming out in the spring. And then Dr. Pilch has been doing some presentations around the spending of the mill levy override dollars and how we're using those to support student achievement throughout the district. She's been on a little mini tour doing those, so that's been great interaction with some of our community groups and members. And as well, she's starting to address some of the facilities needs that we're now looking at through the facilities needs study that is ongoing in District 6. And then, of course, your own community engagement efforts, which are ongoing, and I know that you have plans to discuss that more, but we've already done a pretty good job getting you published in the Tribune through the community guest columns, so we'll continue to work on that, as well as the presentations that you may be doing in the community in the future to get more information to our community about our goals and our strategic plan. So the outcome, measurable outcome for this goal is by 2019, each school will establish a business and/or community partnership to strengthen community relationships. And actually, we are counting this one as accomplished. We feel like we've really reached that goal, and then we'll continue to enhance those relationships and those partnerships as we move forward. I did want to talk a little bit about next steps. Since we have technically completed that goal, and we'll continue to work on those relationships and partnerships, we have gone ahead and added a new objective under the Strengthening Partnerships Priority 3. And as you can see here, that's to engage volunteers in meaningful opportunities to fulfill unmet needs in schools and engage with students and staff. Right now, we're in the formulation portion of that goal, but really what we're looking at is getting meaningful partnerships with our volunteers in our schools. We have a lot of really highly qualified volunteers, many retired teachers, retired professionals in the community that want to be active in our schools, and really trying to find some meaningful opportunities for them that will help with our student achievement goals. So we're going to form a committee of administrators, teachers, people that are actually working as volunteer coordinators in our schools now, which are usually classified personnel, parent liaisons, or office managers, and just seeing what we can do to enhance those partnerships. I think part of that will probably be some sort of a training module for our educators on how they can use volunteers in different ways. We're also looking at just really creating a bank of opportunities for our volunteers that they can select from so that it's a meaningful experience for them as well as our students. So that's all I have tonight, but I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you may have as long as my voice holds out.
It held up very well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Comments, questions from board members at this point? Go ahead and test her ability to hold her vocal cords together. Ms. Solis.
Not really a question. I just want to really thank staff and leadership in, the Innovation 2020, we always talked about how we wanted to make sure that it was an ongoing live document, and the commitment to that has just been off the charts. And I am so grateful that we are all on the same page and understanding that we want to, talk the talk and walk the walk. And each time we get an update, you just see all the investment and just the intense energy to really make sure that it's matching our 2020, Innovation 2020 plan. So I just want to say thank you to your staff. It's hard work, and I think sometimes connecting it and making sure it's in the right, and are we doing the right work, and taking a pulse, and everyone seems to be doing a great job. And as a board member, I really, really appreciate all the energy and hard work that goes into that work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, ma'am, one of the things that's obvious to all of us on the board is that we are in a position of every day being evaluated by our public, and I think every time we have representatives from our own employee groups or our student groups or other folks can come in and chat with us and express themselves and get ideas out, that's a good sign. We have an evaluation of our finances, and that's public, and people talk about how well we're doing in terms of making that information available. But every day, your job never ends, and it's our goal to maintain that pace and to have you whistle and let us know when you feel like there's a new initiative we should be aware of, and have you patient when a board member makes a question or suggestion as to, what are we doing about this particular area. So thanks for your ongoing patience, and once again, thanks to all the staff involved in this. It's a long-term deal, but I think passage of the MLO suggests we've made good progress in expressing real needs to the community, and have made good progress in showing how that money is being spent. And we will make good progress in showing how our facilities are faring. All of those things, that never stops.
It does not.
Sorry, it's a continuing obligation on your part.
Job security, right?
Get your voice back. Thank you very much. I
Thank
don't
you.
see anyone else asking any questions. So thanks go to you too as well, Dr. Pilch, for all that effort. Well, thanks for participating this evening, and you have survived the entire agenda process. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.